Hey guys, welcome to Trash Bashing with Jack of Spades. Today I want to talk about how to create your own airbrush machine, okay, or airbrush gun. It's a very simple thing to make. Doesn't really take that much to create one of these, and even the parts that you need are easily accessible around the house. What you will need though, that you might not have around the house, is an air pump. Okay, that's like the most important part of it to me, is the air pump. This one here I had laying around in the closet for a few years. It was for nebulizer treatments. So I just took the pump and the hose and used it for my airbrush gun. Now, to make one of these airbrush guns, all you need is a few basic things that you have laying around the house. This here is a magic marker that had two tips on it. Okay, it had a smaller tip and a larger tip on this side. I found that it was good to fit the hose on the smaller tip. It fit just right, with just enough friction that it won't pop off when you turn on the air pump. So that worked out. That was just a freak thing that just worked out. And then on this side here, I had to patch it up and like plug it up so that I could fit a little tiny hose on the tip there. Okay, a little tiny tube. Now that little tube is made of plastic, and it came from a perfume bottle. You know how they have the little tubes inside the perfume bottle? Well, that's what that is. It's very thin, and the air that goes through here escapes from a little hole that I drilled on the top here, and I've drilled it in the spot where my index finger can rest on it, okay, where I don't have to go looking for it. It's like right there where my index finger is at all times when I'm holding this. So what happens is when you have the air blowing through this, okay, once the air is blowing through it, the air is escaping from this little hole, which prevents air from flowing out the tip. But when you plug that hole, as soon as you put your finger on it and plug it, the air starts shooting out the tip there. And you get a nice tight stream of air because that tube is so tiny and small. Now, I use the perfume bottle tubing, but you can pretty much use parts from a lighter, from an old discarded lighter that doesn't have fuel in it anymore. You can take it apart and use the little tubing that's in those lighters. They have metal ones, brass ones, plastic bits. You can pretty much use anything for this, as long as it's tight enough and the air shoots out with a nice tight stream. Now, the other part is attached with this little bit of plastic. You can pretty much use anything that fits. You just got to look around and find the right piece to glue onto this. Like I did here, I glued it on with super glue and baking powder, so it has a nice strong hold. And then this had a hole in it, so I put this little piece that you see in the bottle here. There's a little stem there. And at the tip of that stem, basically what you're looking at is this. Okay, you get these. Put that over here so it doesn't fall and spill. You take a ballpoint pen, you take it apart, you remove this little spring that's on the front here, and you take this apart, and you remove the little ball that's on the tip of this ballpoint pen. It has a little ball there, a little tiny metal sphere. And to do that, you have to like place this down on a table, put a little needle like resting right on top of that little ball precisely, and you got to hit that needle with something blunt like a hammer or a plier or whatever. You just tap it, and hopefully that little ball will shoot out the back of this tip here. Now, to do that, you have to remove this. Okay, you got to pull it out with a plier. You got to clean it with hot water to get the ink off of it, and then remove the ball. And then you just like replace everything once all the ink has been cleaned out, which you can do by blowing through this tube. You blow through it and get all the ink out, and then just rinse it with hot water until it's clear. And then you just reassemble everything, and you won't have that little ball in there anymore. And this gets inserted into this bottle top, which you drill a hole in the center, and then you drill little holes on the side, like you see right there. There's a little hole right there. Okay, you make that little hole so that air can get into the bottle when this is operating, so it doesn't create a vacuum. I made 2 little holes. I got one on this side, one on this side, and then I have the one in the center for this here. And then you just put this through, and you use whatever means possible to get it to stay, and to stay firmly and secure without wobbling around. I used a little plastic nut and screw. I drilled a hole through the plastic screw, and I fit this right through that little hole, and then I just screwed it onto the bottle top. But there's a lot of ways to do this. Okay, you don't have to use what I used. There's a lot of ways to do this. You can actually make this whole piece out of the leftover parts of the pen. So there's just a lot of ways you can do this. So I suggest you watch videos on YouTube and find the way that works best for you. So yeah, basically that's all it is. You have this like clear little tube in there like that with a little open top, no more ballpoint in there. And what it does is when you blow the air over this tip, it creates a little mist. It atomizes the fluid coming up through this tube, and it forces the fluid to come up when there's air blowing across the top. So it's basically that simple. I'll give you a little demonstration. And when you cover this hole, as I said before, it makes the air shoot out the front. So it won't shoot the paint out until you cover that hole. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching the video.